Kamala and Oprah teamed up for this Unite for America event where they sat with a semi-live, semi-virtual audience to get answers to the questions that Kamala has been asked a dozen times at this point and has yet to answer. And after this event, that record still stands. She didn't answer anything. She talked a lot, but she didn't actually answer any questions. And at this event, we had Meryl Streep, Ben Stiller, Julia Roberts, Bryan Cranston, Chris Rock, and Jennifer Lopez. And then there was somebody else that I'd never even heard of. But did anyone notice, by the way, that Trump, when he does a rally, people line up for hours. They'll stand in the rain and the cold. The stadiums are overflowing and people are pumped to be there. And not one celebrity has to be around for that to happen. I'm just saying. Everyone else knows this is just a show to distract from the fact that Kamala on her own, if the attention was on her record instead of on these Hollywood elite, she wouldn't stand a chance. So we've always understood that the lives of the Hollywood elite are significantly different than how the rest of us live. But that gap has widened in the last few years. People are struggling. People are wondering how they're going to live. They're giving up even the smallest of luxuries like eating out once in a while or being able to take a vacation. And these are all things that these celebrities cannot relate to at all, which is why it's even, in my opinion, even in more poor taste to trot these people out there to tell us what to do when that gap between us and them is bigger now than it's ever been. In this event, if you watched any of the clips, you know that one of the number one questions, if not the number one question, was how are you going to lower the cost of living? And let me just remind you, countless people asking that question, talking about how bad things are, points out that things are significantly worse now than they were just a few years ago. And acknowledging that these things are bad and thinking that your vote could either make things better or worse means you know that the White House administration directly affects the economy and the cost of living, meaning that the administration in the White House now is the reason that you are struggling. And I know that every time we point out that things were better under Trump, even the Democrats admitted that at that time, but they were running around saying that he was handed Obama's economy. But they knew that things were going well. They all admitted it themselves, but they just never gave Trump credit for it. So now they're just pretending that that never happened, as they usually do, as they consistently rewrite history. But if Kamala Harris and her administration wanted to lower the cost of living, they would have already. In fact, if they wanted the cost of goods for us to be affordable, they would have never let things get this bad in the first place. But every time Kamala was asked this question in this event, or pretty much any time she's ever asked this question, she gave a long-winded speech that anyone with a speck of intelligence knows was not an answer, and that if you have to dance around the issue that much, then you either know your plans for the future are going to fail or be more destructive, like price controls, or you don't have a plan at all. So let's listen to one of these prize-winning speeches. This is a young woman who is in college, and she joined this event virtually, and she tells Kamala that she's living with her parents and wondering how she's going to be able to afford to move out and to buy a home or move on to that next phase in life when she's done, because no one can afford anything right now. And this is Kamala's response to that.
Congratulations on all the success you've already achieved. And it is your story and the story of our friends before you is really, that's the American story, right? You are working hard, you have goals, you have ambitions. And so part of it is, again, the $25,000 down payment assistance. Part of it is what we need to do to also push back against a very different vision for our country. Because look, in this election, there are two very different visions for our country. One, for me, that is focused on the future, including you, and another that is focused on the past. What Donald Trump, what my opponent plans on doing for the economy is doing what he did the last time he was president and giving another tax break for billionaires and the biggest corporations that would add $5 trillion to our deficit. And get this, he plans on doing what I call a Trump sales tax, which is basically he's going to put a 20% tax on everyday necessities that economists have estimated will cost the average American $4,000 more a year, which is why Goldman Sachs, which is why Moody's, which is why Wharton School of Business, which is why 16 Nobel laureates have collectively determined, after analyzing our plans, one, mine would strengthen the economy, his would weaken it. Two, that on his plan, he would actually blow up inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. So when you think about the cost of living, my approach is about lifting you up. His would be about actually weakening our economy. And I feel very strongly when an individual, when a small business, when a family, when the middle class is strong, America is strong.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Thank you, Shelby.
What? What was that? Like, this is, again, this was the #1 question. This is something that I see across social media all the time. I see it on social media. I see it on TikTok, and it's actually really funny. This is just a little side note. One of the people that was used as one of their little clips talking about the economy, and she said something to the effect of, like, I don't know how people can even afford to live right now. There was actually an article about her after this saying, I didn't give them permission to use my video. I am voting for Trump. It was absolutely hilarious. So I love that she said that. But question is, how are you going to make things better for me? And she thinks that giving a speech about supposedly understanding while talking about Trump is sufficient. Like, if you went into a medical appointment and you were about to get surgery and you asked your surgeon what your medical plan was, and they just sat there and talked about how bad another surgeon was, like, would that bring you any comfort or peace at all? Would that answer your question? Or would you just look at them like they were completely insane? And would you immediately leave the office and get a second opinion and go to find another medical professional and perhaps warn other people of not going to this particular surgeon? That's kind of what this is like. It's just mind-boggling to me. We would not accept this in any other aspect of our lives. So it just baffles me, completely baffles me. But this is how truly stupid she and all of these elites think that we are. And again, there were so many celebrities in this event, but no matter how many celebrities you bring into the room, that does nothing for my bank account for the amount I'm spending on bills or food or housing. And I'm going to share this. So this has kind of inspired my little rant today. This article I was reading yesterday, and it just, J-Lo was one of the people in the audience that was attending virtually, and this popped. I just can't with these people. This is how disconnected, you know, and our struggles versus the struggles that people in Hollywood face. So it says Ben Affleck and ex Jennifer Lopez faced devastating blow after accepting an offer on their $68 million Beverly Hills home. What financial challenges are Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez facing right now? Like, while you and me are wondering how we're going to budget food for our families for the next who knows how long, this is what Jennifer Lopez is dealing with. So Ben Affleck and his estranged wife, Jennifer Lopez, are reportedly in the final stages of selling their marital home, which they paid $60.8 million for in May of 2023. The stars, who are currently working on mediating their tricky divorce with lawyer Laura Wasser, have received and accepted a $64 million offer from a couple from New Jersey, according to TMZ. The unknown buyers are said to have fallen in love with their 38,000 square foot mansion, which they listed on Zillow for a staggering $68 million in July. However, in a devastating blow, the buyers are said to have pulled out of escrow following a death in their family. Despite being out of escrow, the insider claims that the New Jersey couple are still interested in the property. The property known as Crestview Manor includes a 12-bedroom, 24-bathroom main house, as well as a 5,000 square foot guest penthouse, plus a 2-bedroom guardhouse, a caretaker house, and a 12-car garage. Amenities include a bar, a home gym, a sports lounge, another bar, a boxing ring, basketball and pickleball courts, and parking for 80 vehicles. The $68 million mansion was Ben's idea and a major compromise for her. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm just dying right now. Like, I'm sorry that J-Lo had to compromise on her $68 million home and had to settle for $64 million instead, and that this couple may or may not buy their home. Like, that is what is being portrayed as a devastating blow to these people. I mean, if that's not relatable, I don't know what is.